Ever feel like you're running out of time? That invisible pressure to become someone before it's too late? Let's talk about what that really is. There is a fear that lives deep in the bones of humanity, a fear that one might not become what you were meant to be. Not just a fear of failure, but the fear of being forgotten, unfulfilled, left behind by time, tribe, or even life itself. Welcome. And today we're going to dive into the 31st evolutionary pattern of change, as well as how the very thing we think is holding us back could be our superpower. But first, I'll start with the parable of the forgotten gardener. At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share. Once in a land not unlike ours, there lived a man named Ryan. He wasn't a warrior or prophet or hidden builder. He was a gardener. And every year, Ryan wandered the edges of the village, planting seeds, trees, herbs, wildflowers, rare ones, unseen ones. Most didn't sprout. The council scoffed. Why do you waste your energy on what doesn't grow? The villagers whispered. He should find something more productive, more important. But Ryan smiled, and he kept planting, quietly, patiently. Seasons passed, years blurred, and then a great drought came. Crops failed, soil cracked, panic set in. But at the far edge of the village, where Ryan had worked alone, green shoots began to rise. Deep underground, the roots he had nurtured had preserved water. His forest had survived, and so had the people. When they asked how he knew, he said only this: I didn't. I just trusted that not everything needs to bloom right away. This is the lesson of the 32nd evolutionary pattern of change. Not a warning, but a reminder that preservation, the patient kind, the sacred kind, is not failure. It is love that doesn't need recognition. It is faith that waits for divine timing, understanding the shadow and its fear of failure. So, what is the real challenge hidden behind this? It's not about failure in the way the world defines it, whether it be bankruptcy, breakups, mistakes. It's something deeper, older. In ancient times, failure meant exile. If you didn't contribute, you didn't survive. That imprint remains in our nervous system, in our gut, in our dreams. Today, this fear hides behind ambition, perfectionism, even hyperproductivity. One pushes harder. We hide our doubts. We keep up appearances because somewhere inside we fear that if we don't become someone, we'll become nothing. This 30-second challenge teaches us that this panic, the one that drives our decisions, that rushes our process, that whispers, you're running out of time, is not your enemy. It's the gateway to something sacred. Complementary shadow to failure is that of expectation and its fear of letting go, especially of your expectations. It also has a repressive nature, and that is a grasping at things and or becoming flaky on the reactive side. So you can see where these two shadows work with each other to contribute to the challenge and never fully realizing our potential. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find four legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign. So you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than seven, and because there are more than seven, because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching, hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the six lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are six expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those six lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess, it will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right-hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS. before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and human design. And there you'll be able to find a free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your genus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into the Wheel of Evolutionary Change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. Now back to the 30-second evolutionary challenge. Every shadow in the wheel of evolutionary change isn't a flaw to fix. It's a fragment of our evolution waiting to be understood. This shadow of failure exists to slow us down, not out of punishment, but preservation, to teach us when to act and when to wait, to help us discern what is worth keeping and what can go through the process of decay, to let us feel the dilemma of panic so that one day one might choose presence instead. Remember, failure is not the end, it's the compost for your soul. Seeing the bridge to grace from fear to veneration. So, what lies beyond the fear, beyond the shadow? It's not success in the way we often define it. It's not fame or certainty or finally being, quote, enough. The true gift of this pattern of change and evolution is preservation, the quiet wisdom to tend to what matters, to plant even when no one's watching, to care for the unseen. And beyond that is the grace of the divine essence, veneration, a state where you live in harmony with life's timing, where you revere your journey, and that everything, yes, even the delays and disappointments, are a form of grace. Veneration is not worship of others. It is the embodiment of sacred living. You don't need to prove your value. You are the forest, you are the root, you are the one who plants. So remember, you're not failing, you're unfolding. So if you've ever felt behind, forgotten, or out of rhythm, remember Ryan, remember the forest, and remember, grace is never late. Your path may be quiet, but it is sacred. And the seeds you've planted are not lost. They're waiting. Thank you for watching this video in its entirety. Down below in the description, you will also find links to contact me, go through my website, learn more about me, how I do what I do, and why I do it. You'll also find links to support groups, divination systems groups, so you can learn more about the Wheel of Change and the gene keys in human design. I also have other groups that you can join. The other is Emotional Intelligence and Mastery, so you can navigate your emotions effectively, harness them with the self-guidance you know you can trust, but we're afraid to. And lastly, Emotional Trauma Release, so you can release unprocessed emotions, so you can shift from the traumatic state where you'll feel like you'll never succeed to realize you have already succeeded many lives before. And right now, you have another opportunity to still choose full self-realization and being what you came here to be. God bless you all on your journey. Namaste and good life to you all.